I just sat down. Why is there always drama on my side of the board?
Because, darling, when I'm around, the spotlight follows. You're welcome.
Your Majesty, do not worry. I am trained for this. I've watched 3 action movies.
Are we under attack, or is this rehearsal?
Man, I just clocked in. Can we not have a crisis before lunch?
Statistically speaking, this position is collapsing due to poor King's safety and—
Oh, not you again with your TED Talk.
Shall we begin the checkmate sequence, or do you need 5 more minutes of excuses, Your Highness?
Wait, what sequence?
Queen to h5 with check. New angle, new lighting, same inevitable ending.
Excuse me, personal space violation. Guards?
What do checkmate and taxes have in common? They're both inevitable. Welcome to the Checkered Comedy, where chess meets chaos, and today's puzzle, Checkmate and Taxes, April 15, 2026, from chess.com, delivers a perfectly forced mating sequence wrapped in drama, sass, and questionable life decisions by a very confused knight. In this animated chess puzzle, you'll watch the pieces come alive as they argue, panic, and completely misunderstand the position, all while executing a flawless checkmate in 3 moves.
I could block this, but the script says I get captured later, so I'm emotionally preparing.
Should I jump somewhere? I don't know where L shapes go under pressure.
retreating to f8 is the least catastrophic option.
Fine, I'm moving, but I'm filing a complaint. King to f8. This better be the last time I move this year.
Oh, honey, we're just getting started.
Target is cornered, awaiting final strike command.
Is this it? Is this where we win? Do I get promoted after this?
Sweetie, this is a solo performance. Your background energy. Queen to h8 with check. I call this move the back rank entrance.
Why are you behind me now? That's not how directions work.
Hey, she's also attacking me now. This is a hostile work environment.
Relax, everyone. I think we're winning. The queen is just wandering around.
That is catastrophically incorrect.
Bro really said we're winning.
King back to f7. I'm literally walking in circles.
Yes, it's called a forced sequence. Look it up.
This is it, the final act. Roll cameras.
I knew I should have transferred to another board.
Queen to g8 checkmate. And that is how you close a show.
I demand a rematch, and maybe a less aggressive queen.
As predicted, an unavoidable mating debt.
Wait, we lost? But I didn't even get to jump.
Does this mean we're off early today?
Mission accomplished. Another clean operation.
Remember, darlings, in chess, just like taxes, the checkmate is inevitable.
Today we're examining the chess.com puzzle titled Checkmate and Taxes, published on April 15, 2026, and it's a wonderful illustration of forcing play where every move feels as inevitable as, well, taxes. From the very first glance, White's queen is aggressively placed, Black's king is slightly exposed, and the coordination of Black's defensive pieces is just loose enough to invite a precise tactical strike. The key idea here is not brute force, but force and continuity. Checks that leave Black with virtually no meaningful choices. As strong players, you should already be asking yourselves, can I keep the initiative going without giving my opponent time to reorganize? That is exactly the theme we're about to explore. Notice also how the queen dominates the board, and the rook on g1 quietly supports potential backrank ideas. The elegance of this puzzle lies in how White uses tempo. Every move comes with check, and every check narrows Black's options further. We begin with White's first move. Queen moves to h5 with check. This is a very instructive decision. Rather than going for a flashy but ineffective idea like moving the queen to h7, which could be calmly met by the king stepping to e8, White instead chooses a move that maintains pressure and improves queen placement. From h5, the queen directly targets the Black king on f7, and also sidesteps any potential threats from the rook on f6. This is a dual-purpose move. It applies check while also improving safety and positioning. Black now faces a constrained situation. The king cannot remain on f7, and interpositions are limited. So Black responds with King moves to f8, which is practically forced. You might consider whether blocking with the rook or other defensive resources could help, but in reality, those attempts only delay the inevitable. Already, we see the essence of checkmate and taxes. Once the sequence starts, there's no escaping the outcome. Now comes the second critical move. Queen moves to h8 with check. This is a beautiful continuation. The queen swings to the back rank, delivering another check while also creating a subtle fork-like idea. She eyes both the king and the rook on f6. More importantly, this move cuts off escape squares and tightens the mating net. Notice how the black king is being shepherded, almost guided, into a corner where we'll have no refuge. Black's only viable response is king moves back to f7. This retreat may look like resistance, but in reality, it's part of a forced march. At this point, I want you to appreciate the geometry. The queen has transitioned from h6 to h5 to h8, constantly checking, constantly improving, and never relinquishing control. The rook on g1 ensure that key escape squares are covered even if they are not immediately obvious threats. Finally, we arrive at the decisive blow. Queen moves to g8, delivering checkmate. This is the culmination of precise calculation and flawless execution. The queen now lands on g8, directly attacking the king on f7, and every single escape square is covered. The king cannot move to e8, cannot return to f8, and cannot flee to g7. Each square is controlled or obstructed. There are no interpositions, no captures, and no defensive resources left. This is pure, clean checkmate. What makes this puzzle especially instructive is how it demonstrates the power of forcing sequences. Every move was a check, every move reduced black's options, and every move improved white's position. There are no wasted tempi, no unnecessary complications, just clarity and precision. That's the real lesson behind Checkmate and Taxes. When you find a forcing line, calculate it thoroughly, trust it, and execute it with confidence.
Which piece was the funniest? And did you spot the mate before the queen started her performance? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this mix of funny chess-pursed real strategy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more animated puzzles every day. Check out our full playlist of hilarious and educational chess puzzles.